September 30th, 2010. We here on the spot. To my left, we have Councilman Charles Barron of the 42nd Councilmatic District. To my right, we have the legendary Bob Law, former WRL host when I was a child, listening to him on the radio. Been trying to get Bob on this show for a long time.
I want to let you know I was a child too.
You was a child too?
I started very young.
I listened to Bob at nighttime growing up for a long time. I've been trying to get him here. It's about Charles right now. But Bob is the campaign manager for the Freedom Party, something that Charles started. Charles, can you give us an overview of the Freedom Party?
Yeah, first of all, a collective of us started the Freedom Party. I had written a letter for the Amsterdam News in reaction to the New York State Democratic Party picking an all-white slate in Rye, New York in May for their leadership ticket. And I had written an article called Mississippi Returning, an all-white slate for the Dems. And basically saying Fannie Lou Hamer had the same issue in 1964 in Mississippi when they had an all-white state slate, and she started the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party.
Not to cut you off, but I'm taking it from the top. My producer here is giving me the signal. Take it from the top. You started out as Black Panther, and major media make that a negative, something negative for you. Can you explain that?
Well, the Panther Party is a proud moment in my history, and sometimes I say Charles Barron ex-Black Panther. I tell them take off the X. I'm still a Panther to my heart, because the Black Panther Party had the same agenda we have today. They wanted full employment for our people. They wanted food, clothing, and shelter. They wanted an immediate end to police brutality. The Black Panther Party wanted a UN plebiscite to take out issues to the United Nations to deal with human rights violations. So the very thing that the Panthers wanted, a quality education, a relevant education, and the same things we're talking about today. And we wanted to defend ourselves from brutal racist police. If the Panther Party was in existence in the Bronx, Amadou Diallo would still be alive, because they would have patrolled those police officers that rolled up on Amadou, and when the police stepped out of the car, the Panthers would have stepped out of the car and observed, and he would not have gotten shot, and neither would have Sean Bell. So we are proud to be Black Panthers. And also, there's a connection to electoral politics. Eldridge Cleaver ran for president on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket. Huey Newton ran for Congress. Elaine Brown ran for the State Assembly. Bobby Seale ran for mayor of Chicago. So there was electoral strategy and tactic even in the Black Panther Party.
The Panthers was definitely into their politics. Now,
absolutely.
I first met you in about 1996 at something that Bob Law had at Bethany Baptist Church. I believe it was 36 seats available in City Council. And you had a function there. How can we get everybody to start picking up on these seats? And that's where I first met you.
Right.
I listened to you all my life, but I first met you there. I was very impressed. You gave me some books to read. You gave everybody, read this, read that. We talked about the conditions of the community. I was impressed. Charles was at that meeting. I was talking about what I was trying to do with youth services. Charles was setting up to get into City Council. Right. You made it. Your political career.
Absolutely. You know, we have to address the question of power. You know, I believe in protests and demonstrations, and I'm going to continue to do that, probably wear out every pair of shoes I ever buy. But in addition to protesting for what? See, protest puts a spotlight on the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. We have to get some power. Power is the ability to address the issues that affect your life. Influence we confuse for power. When you got to march, demonstrate, scream, and holler for people in power to give you a program to address your issues, to have an institution do the right thing by your people, that's influence. When you have the ability to make those decisions yourself, that's power. And the city council have power over land use in my district. They have to come see the council member if they want to build something. We can make laws. That's power. We also have, we pass the budget, not the mayor. That's power.
Say that again, brother, for the people that don't know.
The city council passes the budget, not the mayor. So those are power positions. So we in the Freedom Party We know that there has to be a change in the power structure. We have to have enough power to influence what's going on. And we believe in a more equitable distribution of wealth and income. But that's just rap if you ain't got no power to make it real. So now the Freedom Party gives you a real reason to vote.
Bob, you've been an activist in our community forever. Why did you get involved in the Freedom Party?
Because those of us who love freedom cannot rest.
That's right.
Those of us who love freedom are still on the journey. It's who we are. It's what we do. And it's a legitimate question. People do ask and wonder, why are you still doing these things? Why are you still on the journey? That's who we are. We love black people. And we that's who we are. That's what we do. It is a reflection of, it comes out of our love for our people. And so, as Sweet Honey in the Rock has been known to say, those of us who love freedom cannot rest.
Okay, so why the Freedom Party? What would you tell the young people in the beauty parlor? Why Charles Barron?
Who's going to speak for you?
What?
Who's going to speak to those brothers and sisters in the hood that are walking around unemployed to the tune of 50% black men and 30-40% Latino men? The Freedom Party will speak for you. Who's going to speak for the mothers and fathers on welfare in a vicious economic depressive cycle when they don't have living wage jobs available? The Freedom Party will speak for you. Who's going to speak for those brothers who have their pants down in protest and we all telling them to pull their pants up? But more importantly, who's going to speak for the brothers and sisters who have their pants up?
Eric Adams spoke for them.
Fine.
Eric put the poster on the wall.
Right, but that's not speaking for them. That's speaking at them. Who's going to speak for them? They want their pants to come up, get them a gig, and tell them to go to an interview and watch how quick those pants come up. Who's going to speak for the brothers and sisters in the hood whose pants are already up, who have degrees and can't get a gig? So why should the brother with his pants down is looking at the brother with his pants up who went to school and they're both flipping burgers together? So, you know, that's who the Freedom Party will speak for, those who no one else in this state is going to speak for. Do you know in our neighborhood, we have babies dying before they're born? We have some of the highest infant mortality rate.
Why is that?
Because of racist oppression, because of an inequitable distribution of wealth and income. Why is it that in Carol Maloney's district on the Upper East Side, the median income is $72,000 for a family of 4?
And in your district, the 42nd.
My district, look at the Bronx, the South Bronx, $19,000. Jose Serrano's district, $19,000 a family of 4. Why are whites more privileged and blacks and Latinos more oppressed? That's a wide disparity. And in my district is 26 to 28,000. Harlem is 30,000 for a family of 4. This Bedford-Stuyvesant is 28 to 30,000. How did whites get 72,000? They're not smarter. They don't work harder. So how come they have that kind of disparity in income?
And you
the Freedom Party will speak to that and do something about it.
So who else will the Freedom Party speak for?
Everybody in the state that's a working class family that has to deal with tuition going up for CUNY and has to send their children to college. Everybody in this state that's in a union where you have Cuomo and Palladino talking about unions have to freeze their wages, take money from their pension, pay for some of their own health care, because they're not going to take care of the public service employee unions, because that's where we are. The Freedom Party will speak for them.
The Freedom Party is the answer.
That's right, because then once you have that, you have leverage. Because now, what happens in the Democratic Party, they take our vote for granted.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Here's the first question I'm going to say to you. What do you say to the people that this time last year and a half ago, we had this same conversation and you were running for the Speaker of City Council? And you ran because you said we didn't have power and leverage then in the City Council, and we needed someone of color because the mayor, you said, was right, Christine Quinn. So now you went from, you got your seat back as a council member, and then you went for we needed some power in the city. Now you went from there to
First of all, we didn't go nowhere. So you're making it seem like we
No. Let
me go now.
Okay, let's go.
Let me go now.
Because
we didn't travel nowhere.
Okay.
We're still talking about power. And those are races that raise consciousness. This is real power. Now, the Freedom Party is a different trip.
Okay.
We got in the city council. I have some influence and power now. Come to East New York. Bring the cameras and let me show you how many parks were renovated. For $17.5 million, renovated 3 parks that was never renovated before I got in office. I'm the #1 city council member in building affordable housing. No other city council member in the city out of the 51, including the whites, have built more affordable housing. No one has brought 2 new schools, $80 billion schools in their district. What I'm saying to you, that running for speaker, running for the city council, and the Freedom Party, same struggle, same fight, same quest for power. There's no from this to that to this, because I don't want you to have the viewers think I'm all over the place.
I would have clarified it.
You took too long.
We've had these conversations.
I had to have you hurry up and get there.
We've had these
conversations. You're hung out there too long.
We've had these conversations before, and I'm trying to connect the dots. But what I am trying to say is, the Freedom Party, you went out here, you got 43,000 votes. Signatures. Now we want to know, if I'm going to say when I go to work, Charles Barron is that man because he's out here fighting for us, what will the Freedom Party bring us?
First of all, let me say this. For all of those questions you raised, before I get to what we will bring,
I'm going to ask
you, let me tell you this. I met a brother in the street who asked the same question. He said, I've been a registered Democrat all my life and I don't have a job. Well, if you've been a registered Democrat all your life, why don't you have a job? And why don't you say to the Democratic Party, where's my job? So we're going to get to what the Freedom Party is going to do, but black people don't ask the Democratic Party that. They don't ask the black Republicans, the few who do, they don't ask them that. But when it comes to us, and we have an answer. We're not saying that because we don't have an answer, but I find it interesting that they can be a registered Democrat all their life, be unemployed, homeless, working poor, crime in the neighborhood, foreclosures on their homes, and they're going to ask us what you going to do. Now, the question is, how did you stay in the Democratic Party so long with them doing nothing?
I'm going to ask a question, but we're going to go to a break. But the question is going to be asked, and why it's going to be asked, because we want to send it to Palladino, and we want to send it to Cuomo to ask them the same question, which is, what are you going to do for our community? Because we want to ask them the same question. What are you going to do for our community? Because in Borough Park, they'll put a yarmulke on and they'll tell them exactly what they're going to do specifically for them. So we want to hear from the Freedom Party, and then we're going to take it back and we're going to ask Palladino what he's going to do for us, and we're going to ask Cuomo because wait, hold on, Charles, hold on, I'm going to say why.
You taking all the time.
No, hold it, Charles, because we going to go to commercial, but here's the question. We're going to ask because we witnessed what's the sister name from NAACP, Hazel Dukes, embrace Cuomo. She embraced Cuomo, but Cuomo never spoke to us. So we're going to come back from a brief message from our sponsors, and we want to hear what you're going to do, because we want to ask the same question from everybody else.